afternoon session.
Hi, Doc. Ako po. Good afternoon.
Okay. Sige, let's start. Can you lead us in prayer?
Let us bow our head and feel the presence of the Lord. Dear Lord, as we continue our day, we thank you for the strength that has carried us this far. Refresh our minds and renew our energy for this afternoon lesson. Help us listen well, think clearly, and do our best in everything. Guide us in all that we do. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. How many are you in the class that we should be expecting in this call?
39 po, Dok.
39. So far we have 34 total in the hall. That includes me. So can you check if there are a few more of your classmates who haven't joined us? Can you message them to remind them? Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Carlo Villanueva. I'm an ENT head and neck surgeon. I've been with La Consolacion College of Medicine since 2017, and I've been teaching anatomy, topics in anatomy, but mostly ENT head and neck surgery topics. And also, I'm the clinical clerks coordinator. So when you reach your fourth year, when you do your rotations in ENT, I'll be the one to, hopefully, I'll still be the one handling you if I'm still around for the College of Medicine. So I've sent you a bunch of videos, and sorry, but it's quite a few. That's why I sent it ahead of time. So almost 3 weeks ahead, I sent the video so that you will have time to watch, review, and rewatch it. And head and neck anatomy is one of the more challenging ones to really learn and understand. And that's why I sent videos so that you will have time to watch it over and over again and clarify some topics. Now, the purpose of our plenary session this afternoon is not to discuss the whole thing or everything, but to emphasize which items you should remember or keep in mind, and also to answer questions that you might have. Okay. So I'd like to encourage everyone that if you are able to turn on your cameras and also to open your microphones when you ask questions, that would be better. But if you aren't able to, I'll also be monitoring the chat. So if you have questions, you can also put it in the chat box. Now, I'm assuming that most of you, if not all of you, have already watched the videos. So let's start off by checking if you have questions about certain topics that I sent. So there are, I think, let me check, 10 videos, excluding the two other endoscopy videos. So 10 videos, some are short, some are lengthy, but I hope you were able to watch them all. So let's go through them one by one. Or do you have questions for me before I go through the videos one by one and emphasize the topics or the items that you need to really understand or memorize? This is my first session with you, right? I didn't have a lecture with you last year. Okay, so usually when the students don't have questions, I'm the one who asks questions to the students. So it's better if you are the ones to ask questions, or else I'll start calling names and asking you questions. That's just to check if you're able to watch the video really. Okay, someone put a question on the chat box from Marcelino. Good afternoon, Doc. More on clinical. When water gets trapped in the ear during swimming, where does it usually accumulate and how can it be resolved? Just in the canal. As long as the tympanic membrane is intact, the water just is retained in the canal. Uh, it can spontaneously go out, but if it gets stuck and doesn't evaporate or significant, hindi siya matanggal, then it can cause infection actually. Kasi build up moisture causes ano. the growth of bacteria and fungi. Okay, any more questions? Excuse me. So let me call on, I'm looking at the names. I'll call the ones who have their cameras off. Biglang nag-on sila ng camera lahat. Okay, so Kalayag Nathan, do you have questions for me regarding the videos?
Doc, what
Sorry, you're on mute.
Doc yung clinical significance po ng mga important parts of the bone, especially sa head po.
Okay, so of course, sorry, for you to appreciate the clinical application of the memorizing or knowing all the bones of the face or skull, you should first know them by name and yung location nila. So the significance there is when you have patients with trauma, you will know how to evaluate or to know which bone you're actually assessing or checking. So for example, I have here a skull. Wait, let me. Yeah. So can you see it? So even if you know the area that is fractured or injured, it would be hard for you to come up with a diagnosis if you don't know the names. So just like with any other topics in anatomy, marami talaga dito yung you will just really have to memorize because there's no other way around it. Once you've memorized the location and the name, then you'll be able to more correlate it with the clinical aspect of you becoming a doctor. Yeah. Pero relating it clinically, if you don't know it, mahirap. So, kagaya nga ng sinasabi nila, you have to know the normal first, the basic first, before you can move on to the clinical and the more, shall we say, in-depth part. Sadly, it is also the more interesting one once you get to the clinicals. But usually, yung anatomy talaga minsan, I know you can find it sometimes challenging to find the interest or the enthusiasm in memorizing it. But just know siguro that this will all be worth it and will be useful for you when you go to the clinics. Any other questions? So I'll call again. Pag wala nagvo-volunteer. Si Salvador Andrea Nicole.
Doc, regarding din po sa clinical correlation, di ba meron po pag yung regarding po sa rhinitis, na-affect po yung ilong sa tenga po?
Yes. Yes. What's the question?
Like, kasi may instances po na nabibingi po yung patient kapag sobra po barado yung ilong.
Okay, good. So who can answer that question before I answer it? What is the clinical correlation or what is the anatomic basis for someone who has severe rhinitis or colds experiencing earfulness or difficulty in hearing? It was mentioned, I think, in the lecture. In the ears, nose, and PNS lecture that I sent. Wala. Baka hindi nyo pinanood. There's a certain structure that connects the nose, the nasopharynx, and the ears. What structure is that?
Yung middle ear po, nakakonect po sa nasopharynx.
By which tube?
Eustachian tube.
Ayun, very good. So that explains it. So the purpose of the eustachian tube is to ventilate the middle ear. So normal exchange or circulation of air should be going through the nose to the middle ear. So if it doesn't happen because of severe congestion or rhinitis, then there's pressure buildup inside the middle ear and causes the tympanic membrane, eardrum not to vibrate fully or properly. Hence the hearing loss or earfulness. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, so next, let me call on ito. Favorite ko yung name na to. Bianca. Yan, Santos Bianca. Because my wife's name is Bianca.
Good afternoon po, Doc.
Yes, hi Bianca.
Doc, in cases po of vestibulitis, there are some po na nawawala na po ng pandinig. Is it permanent or is it temporary?
Okay. During your third year, I'll also be the one that's gonna discuss or give to you the lecture about neuronitis and vestibulitis or labyrinthitis. So it could be temporary, it could be permanent, depending on the cause. So when you say labyrinthitis or vestibulitis, it's just as a swelling of the whole inner ear system that could include the cochlea or may exclude the cochlea. But that's just a disease or condition affecting the inner ear. So depending, if it's severe enough, it can be permanent. If it's transient viral, usually it's just temporary. Okay, puro clinical tanong nyo Ayaw nyo ng anatomy questions. Baka mali palang class yung napasukan ko. Third year na ba to? Puro clinical yung tanong niyo. Okay, other questions? Sige, habang nag-iisip kayo, I will enumerate or discuss with you what's the important things to know. Number one, the triangles of the neck. You should really just memorize it. Know the divisions of the anterior and posterior triangle. Ano nagde-divide sa kanila? Ano yung boundaries nila? Then how many triangles are there in the neck? And the subdivisions. Why is it important for you? Is so that when you talk about or give regional description, you will speak terminologies and speak in terms that would be understood universally all throughout throughout medical care. So, for example, when you say submandibular triangle, for example, there's a mass. There's a 2 by 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters mass located on the right submandibular triangle. So if you do not know the submandibular triangle, it would be hard for you to locate where that mass is. The same way, on the other side, pag hindi mo alam kung ano yung pangalan ng location, how would you describe it? You will just say there's a mass of 4 centimeters in widest diameter somewhere in the neck. Kasi hindi mo alam yung anatomical description. But if you know the triangles of the neck, it would be easier for you to pinpoint or localize or label what you are actually seeing in the patient. So clear ba yun? So you should know the submental, submandibular, the carotid triangle, the muscular triangle, the subclavian, okay, occipital. So, and yung boundaries nila. So that when you describe something to me or to your colleagues, accurate or precise yung description ninyo. And you will be able to understand each other. Okay? The contents of the different triangles of the neck is also very important. Why? Kasi again, relating it clinically, if you know the contents of the triangle and you palpate something there, an abnormality, or you're trying to check if something is wrong, you know what the most probable pathologies are. So if you palpate something in the carotid triangle na matigas, you know that it could be a tumor in the carotid body, in the carotid sinus, in the carotid itself, or the IJV, internal jugular vein. Okay, but if you palpate something in the muscular triangle that is located more anteriorly, then maybe it's something of the thyroid. Kasi alam mo na nandun sa area na yung bandang yung thyroid. Or if you palpate something in the submandibular, so again, alam mo na nandun yung submandibular gland. Sa mental would be the sublingual gland. Okay? So I will not go through each and every triangle one by one because that is already mentioned in the video. So you just watch it. Okay? Next, on the videos that I sent, the skull and foramina. So very important. When you look at the skull, you should be able to, let me adjust my video. Video settings. Wait. Unblur. Okay, there. So when you look at the underside of the skull, you should be able to distinguish the different foramina and what structures go through that. Okay? Why? Again, knowing that a patient, for example, gusto niyo yung may mga clinical correlation, di ba? So, kunwari, may patient kayo na may trauma, fracture. So, knowing which area of the skull was fractured, you can correlate it with the possible injuries or other things that you should watch out for because may mga foramina na maaring affected by the condition or the fracture of the patient. Okay? Facial skeleton, kasama rin sa video. So when you look at the face, facial skeleton, you should know the different parts. Okay, the calvarium, the frontal area, the nasal bones, and then the maxilla, and the mandible, and the different parts, different subdivisions. Okay? So again, might be a little challenging kasi marami, but you have no other way around it but just to really look at the diagrams, look at the illustrations, look at models like this one, and try to memorize. Okay? Sa facial skeleton, very important nga yung sinabi ko kanina, in the subdivisions, and also look at the foramina. There's infraorbital foramina. Anong nerve ang lumalabas dyan? And ano yung purpose nun? Mga ganon. Important yun. The contents of the orbit. Okay. Because what do you call the bony protrusions on the lateral aspect of the nasal cavity? Yan, yung mga nasa loob ng ilong na parang mga bony outgrowth from the lateral wall. What do you call that? Anyone? Okay, concha. Tama. Correct. How many are there on each side? Usually, 3. Pag covered na siya by mucosa, you already call it a turbinate. So pag bony lang, concha. Pag plural, concave, may E sa dulo. Pagka covered by mucosa already, it's already called a turbinate. So what's the purpose of the turbinate? It warms the air going inside. Okay? So that it is in the optimal temperature and humidity when it reaches your lungs, the air that you inhale. Kaya mapapansin ninyo, pagka humihinga kayo sa ilong, as low as normal yung ilong ninyo, masarap ang paghinga ninyo. Warm yung air, hindi kayo nadadry, smooth. But when you breathe for a prolonged period of time through the mouth, ano na nangyayari? Parang natutuyuan kayo, nadadry. It's because walang turbinate sa bibig. Nag-warm ng air and humidify. Okay? Next, thyroid, parathyroids. Ayan, dapat alam ninyo ano yung usual shape ng thyroid, ano yung usual weight niya, and ilan ba yung arteries versus nerves. Versus veins on each side. Ano yung blood supply niya? Ilang arteries at ilang vein on each side? Does anyone know? Remember? Laging tinatanong yan eh. Wala? Okay, minention niya sa video. Hanapin ninyo. Pero ano yan? 2 arteries and 3 veins. So merong superior, thyroid artery and vein. John, like me, when you're operating on a patient, you have to ligate all the vessels, all the blood supplies for you to be able to take out the thyroid. So habang nag-opera ka, tapos hinanap mo yung superior, inferior, tapos nakalimutan mo na meron pa palang middle thyroid vein, tapos hindi mo tinanggal, anong yung nangyayari? Duduguin ka. Pag tinanggal, or hindi mo tatanggal. Saka isa pa, yung middle thyroid vein, landmark mo rin yan for locating other important structures. So ano yung important na nerve na closely related to the thyroid that could be injured during surgery?
Recurrent laryngeal nerve po.
Okay, very good. So recurrent laryngeal nerve. So what does the recurrent laryngeal nerve supply? So part na rin yan ng lecture yan. Nandito rin yan sa videos na sinend ko sa inyo.
Larynx po, Doc.
Okay, particularly, ano ang part ng larynx? Intrinsic muscles, extrinsic muscles?
Intrinsic po, Doc.
Okay, very good. So all the intrinsic muscles of the larynx is supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve, except what muscle?
Cricothyroid po.
Very good. Who said that? Si Lizette Cruz. Okay. Except the cricothyroid, because the cricothyroid is supplied by which nerve? Kung may recurrent laryngeal, merong isa pa. So, superior laryngeal nerve. Okay? Bakit tinawag na recurrent laryngeal nerve? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng recur? Kunwari kayo, kakatapos na ng Valentine's Day, di ba? Tapos meron kang love interest na paulit-ulit ka na lang binibigo, di ba? So, anong tawag mo doon? This is a recurring theme in our relationship, di ba? Paulit-ulit na hina-heartbreak, break ang heart mo. Meron bang ganyan? Meron bang relate sa inyo dyan? Wala nga amin. Okay, so what does recurrent mean? Bakit ko sinabi yun? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng recurrent? It repeats itself or umuulit siya, di ba? So bakit kaya tinawag na recurrent laryngeal nerve?
Dok, bumababa po siya sa thorax, tapos babalik ulit towards the larynx.
Very good. So saan siya naglo-loop around? Sa left and sa right, magkaiba. Sa left, saan siya umiikot?
Sa
Saan siya
left po
naglo-loop?
sa aortic arch po, tapos sa right po, sa right subclavian artery.
Okay, very good. So, yon. Kaya minsan makaka-encounter kayo, again, clinical correlation, para mas malagyan nyo ng interest and meaning yung pag-memorize nyo ng anatomy. May mga patients na mag-undergo ng surgery sa heart dahil merong congenital heart disease. May mga PDA, yung mga ganyan. Tapos, after the surgery, napansin nila paos na yung baby or iba na yung boses dahil naapektuhan or tinamaan pala yung recurrent laryngeal nerve. Either due to surgery or minsan dahil lang talaga sa nagdadilate yung part ng aortic arch, nasa stretch siya, tapos nagiging hoarse yung patient. Tama ba yung term na hoarseness of voice? Mag-react nga kayo kung you agree na tama ang term na hoarseness of voice. Give a thumbs up if you agree that it's a correct terminology. Wala? Sige, raise of hand na lang, as in actual hands. Do you agree na hoarseness of voice is correct? Taas ang kamay. So wala nag-agree. Okay, konti lang. Sino yung nagdi-disagree? Sabihin nyo, mali yung term na yun, hoarseness of voice. Taas ang kamay. Okay, wala nang nagtataas ng kamay. Sino sa inyo ang hindi magtataas ng kamay kahit anong itanong ko? Okay, so ayun nyo. So, yung hoarseness of voice is not a correct terminology. Why? Meron ba bang ibang napapaos? Napapaos ba yung pandinig ninyo? Hoarseness of hearing, wala, di ba? So when you say hoarseness, automatic, it pertains to voice. Okay? So pagka gumagawa kayo ng history or description sa complaint ng patients ninyo, you shouldn't put hoarseness of voice. Rather, you should just place there hoarseness of how many weeks or months or days duration. Okay, so that's the larynx. Sa larynx, kailangan nyo malaman all the muscles, intrinsic muscles, are, para ma-memorize nyo na madali, is supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve except for the cricothyroid, which is supplied by the superior laryngeal nerve. So, madali na lang mag-memorize or matandaan na basta hindi cricothyroid muscle, lahat yan supplied by recurrent laryngeal nerve, which is a branch of which cranial nerve? Ang recurrent laryngeal nerve. How many cranial nerves do we have?
12 po.
12. O, pang-ilan yung nagsusupply sa kanya? Or
10 po.
nag-branch? Which is otherwise known as? Cranial nerve 10 is what? Oh. If it helps you, sige, pero better if you really know.
Vagus.
Okay, vagus. Okay, so, ano yung 1? Sige nga, tingnan natin. Since part pa rin naman to ng head and neck.
Olfactory.
Olfactory po.
Ano yung 2?
Optic.
Optic o ophthalmic? Ano pinagkaiba? Ano yung 3?
Oculomotor.
Ano yung 4?
Trochlear.
Trochlear. Ano yung 5?
Trigeminal.
Trigeminal. Ano yung 6?
Abducens.
7?
Facial.
8?
Vestibulocochlear.
Okay. 9?
Pharyngeal.
Okay, very good. Glossopharyngeal. 10, sinabi na natin, vagus. Ano yung 11?
Accessory.
Spinal accessory. And then 12 is would be the
Hypoglossal.
hypoglossal. Okay to? Alam niyo naman pala. So, memorize that, ha? Important yan. So, mapapansin nyo, since head and neck yung lecture natin, lahat ng cranial nerves will be involved or tackled. Okay? So, all the muscles still on the larynx, all the muscles, anong naproproduce na movement ng intrinsic muscles of the larynx with regards to the movement of the vocal cords? Are most of them adductors or abductors? Who says adductors? Raise your hand. Wala. Who says abductors? Raise your hand. Ayun na naman tayo. Okay, sino sa inyo yung kahit anong itanong ko hindi magtataas ng kamay pa rin? Okay. So kayo yun, yung magtataas ng kamay. Wala kayong opinion. You are unopinionated. Ayun yung mamili. So pag sinabi mong ang vocal cords, diba ganyan siya, parang letter V. Pag sinabi mong abductor, it opens it up, di ba? Abduct. Pag sinabi mong adductor, naglo-close. So, lahat ng muscles are mostly adductors. Lahat sila nag-adduct, naglo-close. Except for one, which is what muscle?
Doc, posterior cricoarytenoid po ba?
Okay, posterior cricoarytenoid. Okay? So madali na lang, 'di ba? Pag memorize mo, ang tatandaan mo lang, posterior cricoarytenoid, siya lang yung abductor. So lahat ng ibang muscles, adductor siya. So pag tinanong ka, what is the action of the lateral cricoarytenoid muscle? What is the action of the thyroarytenoid muscle? What is the action of the interarytenoid muscles? What is the action of the vocalis muscle? Lahat yan, alam mo, na ano sila? Adductor. Kasi isa lang yung abductor, which is the posterior cricoarytenoid. So it makes studying, memorizing easier. Kaya dapat talagang yung ganyan, parang iniintindi nyo lang talaga. Kasi understanding makes it easier to memorize. But memorization without understanding makes it very, very tedious or hard. Sometimes even boring. You do not understand what you're studying. Okay? So next natin sa larynx, I think that's it. The parts of the larynx, of course, you should know. Where's the epiglottis, mga ganyan. Where's the vallecula? Yung cartilages, you should know what are the arytenoid, the cuneiform, corniculate, then the thyroid cartilage, all of which are incomplete rings. Ano lang yung complete ring na thyroid cartilage? Starts with the letter C.
Cricoid po.
Cricoid. Why is it important to know that the cricoid is a complete ring as compared to the C-shaped tracheal rings? Pag complete ring, pag bilog na bilog lang siyang ganyan, walang compliance, di ba? Rigid siya kasi complete ring. So pag nagkaroon ng swelling, pag namaga, walang way para mag-open up yung mucosa, magkakaroon ng stenosis or obstruction. As compared to pag C-shaped ring, ganyan yan, parang letter C. Kahit na mamaga, since open siya sa likod, pwedeng may give. So hindi less yung likelihood na magkaroon ng complete stenosis or obstruction. Kaya rin ang area ng pinaka-common na nagkakaroon ng airway obstruction or stenosis is the cricoid area. Kasi nga, complete C-shaped ring, walang compliance, walang give. Lahat ng cartilages na yan ay what type of cartilage? Starts with the letter H.
Hyaline.
Okay to. Ba't kaya kailangan ganun? Pang testmanship lang kayo Puro testmanship. Pag multiple choice ang question, masasagot ninyo. Pero pagka hindi, wala na. Okay. Neurovasculature, yun. Kasama na yung nerves. So, know the cervical plexus. You should study it, the branches. Where's the Erb's point? What's the course of the spinal accessory nerve in the neck? The courses of the different cranial nerves, you should know. Sa vasculature naman, true or false, the internal carotid artery has several branches in the neck. Who says true? Taas ang kamay. Who says false? Taas ang kamay. Ayan na naman tayo, unopinionated na mga batang to. Mamimili na lang A or B, ayaw pa mamili. So who would like to, who's a brave soul who would like to answer, give their opinion? True or false? The internal carotid artery has several branches on the neck. False. Oh, wala. Kaya siya internal. Ano yung may branches? External. So, kailangan nyo i-memorize yung branches of the external carotid artery. Memorize and know the area and the course. So, ano ba yung mga branches? Sinong may masasabi na branches ng external carotid artery?
Superior thyroid lingual, facial occipital, ayun ba?
Posterior auricular, ano pa?
Maxillary artery.
Maxillary, ano pa?
Superficial.
Nandun sa lecture room. Yan, superficial temporal. Okay? So memorize the branches of the external carotid artery on the neck. Next. How many parathyroids does a person normally have? Parathyroid glands?
4 po.
4 normally. Pero it can range from 2 to 12. So may mga tao 2 lang, may mga tao 12. So, iba-iba. So know what hormones are produced by the thyroid and the parathyroid. Sino yung merong calcitonin? Sino may produce sa calcitonin? Chief cells. Okay? Sino naman, ano yung tawag sa storage form ng thyroid hormones? Thyroglobulin or colloid. Okay? Next, tinitingnan ko kasi yung mga videos na sinend ko sa inyo. Salivary glands, how many major salivary glands?
3 po.
3 on each side, okay? So what are those? Ano yung pinakamalaki dito?
Parotid po.
Parotid. Sunod dito. Major salivary gland dito.
Submandibular gland.
Submandibular. Ito pa. Dito sa bandang gitna.
Sublingual po.
Sublingual. Okay. So, yan. Kailangan i-memorize nyo rin yan. Location. Ano yung pinakamalaki, ano yung pinakamalit sa mga major salivary glands. In relation to your physiology, you should know which gland produces more serous discharge and which gland produces more mucoid discharge. Yun. During your 3rd year, you will know that tumors that are arising from certain salivary glands would be greater likelihood to be malignant versus another gland whose tumors tend to be more or greater likelihood to be benign. But aside from the major salivary glands, you also have minor salivary glands. Would anyone care to venture how many minor salivary glands we have? Saan sila located? Yung mga minor salivary glands.
Sa oral cavity pa tsaka sa oropharynx.
All over, no? All over the mucosa of the oral cavity, oropharynx, including the palate, the buccal mucosa, and even the lips. Okay, ano bang purpose ng salivary glands? Siyempre, to produce saliva, di ba? Kaya nga sila salivary glands. Kayo naman eh. So, siyempre may purpose rin ng saliva, pero that is already more part of your physiology, no? But when I study, or even when I teach, I'd like to correlate always anatomy with physiology. Why? Because you understand it more. And you put yung purpose, hanap yung purpose on why you are studying the anatomy. Kasi you also know the purpose of the different structures. Okay. Surface anatomy, yon. Sa surface anatomy naman ng head and neck, know the landmarks. Kasi nga, for nomenclature, terminologies. So, where's the glabella? Can you point where the glabella is? Wala, hindi alam. Glabella. Where's the philtrum? Oh, nanguhula. Parang... Okay. So, kailangan yan mga bagay na alam nyo. Where's the mentum? Mentum. Hindi ito mentum Yung nagkakamot sa ulo ng walang makati, hindi mentum yan. Mental, lang yan. Mental challenge. Ito mentum, okay? Where's the Where's the nation? Nation. Hindi nation, nation. So lahat yan kailangan malaman ninyo para alam ninyo kung ano yung pinag-uusapan. Hindi yung pag tinanong ka, nasa ng lesion? Nasa may noo po. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Okay? Nasa ng lesion? Nasa face po. Saan sa face? Ang laki-laki ng face di ba? So, buccal area. Nasa may buccal area. Buccal, yan. Okay. So, dapat alam niyo. Nasaan na yung ala? Nasaan yung nasal ala? Ala. Naliligaw. O may humaching patuloy. Kita sa video, humaching kahit na-commute. Okay, nakikita ko kayo halos lahat eh. Ayun. Okay, ano pa? Nasal endoscopy, nag-send ako ng video para ma-imagine, makita ninyo, ma-visualize nyo talaga yung itsura ng loob ng ilong. Thyroid, neurovasculature muscles. Ears, nose, and PNS. Ayun, so yung ears, dapat alam nyo, ano yung divisions ng ng external, middle, saka inner ear. Ano yung mga structures na nandoon. What is the smallest bone in the body?
Stapes po.
Stapes, okay. Ano pa yung dalawang other small bones within the middle ear?
Malleus po, tsaka intus.
Okay, very good. Ano pa? So, I think that's the things that I want to emphasize. Do you have questions? Kung wala ng questions, is this your last class for the day? What time is your next class? Grabe kung makailing. Lakas makailing eh. Pero kanina tinatanong ko ng sagot, ay walang nagre-react. Okay, what's the next class and what time?
45 po Doc, yun ang next one.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
4 to 5 p.m. po, for human lifespan po.
Okay, sige. So I'll let you go so you can have more time to study. Please watch the videos that I sent if you haven't done so. Watch them over and over again. Those are very nice videos that I've collected, curated for you. There are a lot of other videos that you can still look at in the internet, but these are the ones that I think that are high yield, simple, and easy to understand. Kaya ako na yung naghanap. Then I also included there yung lecture ko about the ears, nose, and paranasal sinuses. Paranasal sinuses, kasama pala dyan ilan ba ang paranasal sinuses? Dapat alam ninyo which ones are present at birth and which ones develop during your lifetime. The relation of the nose and the ears, kasama rin pala, kailangan nalaman yun, use stick and tube, as well as yung connection niya papunta sa mouth and oral cavity, from the nose going to the oropharynx. The tonsils, the Waldeyer's ring, you should know. Okay, that's it. If you have questions, you can send me a message. And you have the rest of the time to study.